Hi, I am Narciso and I am here to discuss with you the basics on how to write the financial plan. At the end of this discussion, everyone should be able to define what an action plan is and its importance in writing a financial plan. Second, to be familiarized on how to create a Gantt chart, CPM chart or PER chart, and third, to help us on how to formulate a financial assumption. So let's now begin with our discussion proper. So title 14 is the financial plan. So this part is already the beginning of the financial plan proper. After conducting various interviews and surveys, after analyzing the company both internally and externally, and after constructing SWOT analysis, in this part, the chosen course of action will be articulated in detail. So this chosen course of action will serve as a blueprint in addressing or in solving the problem of the company. So in this discussion, we will deal with three parts. So that is the action plan. Second is the Gantt chart or the PERT or CPM chart, and third is financial assumption. So let's start with an action plan. So an action plan is defined as a detailed outline of the tasks required to accomplish a goal. So it breaks down process into an actionable steps based on the given time frame. And then an action plan also provides a clear roadmap on achieving a desired outcome for the company. So and an action plan should also follow the principles of STRAMP, that is S is specific, T timely bound, R reliable, A attainable, M manageable, and last P profitable. So Dr. Cresco Rao provided us a template or a matrix on how to write a financial plan. So the following items should be included in writing this section. So first is the strategic action or the recommended alternative course of action. So first, the analysts will establish different or various alternative courses of actions, and after establishing, they will analyze individually, and then they evaluate each alternative course of action based on the decision criteria, and after that they would be able to come up with a recommended ACA or that will serve as their strategic action. Next is the policy. So policy is the statement of aims, rules, or policies that shall embody the alternative course of action based on the strategic action. So third is the course of action. These are the steps or a step-by-step procedure that must be undertaken in order to implement a strategic choice or strategy. And next is the objective. Of course, in every step or in every procedure, there shall be a guideline in order to help the company if they would be able to achieve their desired goal or objective. So these are the aims to accomplish for every course of action. Next is the people involved, who are the persons or the people responsible in executing that particular procedure or step. Next is the time frame. So it should be based on the Gantt chart and the PERT or CPM chart. So this chart will be discussed in the next section. So the cost involved, of course, when we are doing a research or when we are implementing a project, we cannot avoid costs. So we must declare or we must enumerate the possible costs, expenses, or salaries that we may incur upon the implementation of the project. So of course, the expected returns. So why we are doing this action is because we are expecting something in return. So it can be a yield or profit or something that will benefit the company. So next is the possible hurdles. So these are the problems that may arise or that the company may encounter during the execution or implementation of the chosen strategy. And next are the success indicators. It should be based on the set criteria and the evaluation tools. So these are the tools used by the analysts or by the company in order to determine the success of this strategy implemented. So here is how an action plan look like. So this is a sample matrix for an action plan. So as you can see, there is an action plan. So based on the um, previous discussion, so the chosen alternative course of action is branching out. So and the course of action, it includes 5 steps. So example only is the first is the board of directors meeting. So the objective is to plan and determine the cost of expanding the target market and the amount to be loaned. So and who are the people involved? Of course, the board of directors or the owner and the owners of the company. And the time frame. So these are the time that will be needed in executing this procedure. So they write it 1 month. Next is the cost involved. So it is mentioned here that for example, is the application of loan. The loan they have to loan 200,000 and it will cost them an interest of 50,000. So that will be the cost in before implementing the final action and the expected return. So if they would be able to apply for a loan and to allocate the loan, they would be it is expected that the company will increase its net sales by 8% after 5 years. And the possible hurdles, of course, since the company is still starting, so there might be a difficulty in availing credit. Of course, additional costs and expenses, and last is their accounts payable tend to increase. The success indicators is of course profitability and success. If they would be able to generate fund, of course they would have an ample cash to continue or to pursue its operation. And last is the evaluation tool. So example that the company will be used is the cost basis analysis. Okay, let's now proceed with the second section. That is the Gantt chart or the PERT or CPM chart. So the proponents may choose either a Gantt chart or the PERT or PCM chart depending on the projects to be accomplished. So what is Gantt chart? So Gantt chart outline all the tasks involved in a strategic financial plan and their order shown against a time scale. So this is an example illustration of a Gantt chart. So the time frame that is written in the action plan should be reflected in this chart. For example, it will take 1 month to execute or to finish this procedure. So from January to February is only at the board meeting, and the next procedure, application of loan, also 1 month, the allocation of funds 2 months, and then promotion, it will take 3 months, and lastly the market expansion, there is a need for 6 months to implement the chosen action. So the second one is the PERT or the CPM chart. So PERT stands for Program Evaluation Review Technique, or the CPM or the critical path method. So there are steps that should be followed in creating this chart. So first, define the project or its significant activity. So the same with the Gantt chart. However, you have to list down the steps or the procedures or the activities that will be done or undertaken by the company. So for example, step 1 and then the step 2 and then the step 3 and step 4. After establishing the steps, develop relationship among each other. So how by drawing a network connecting each activity. So for example, it will take 1 month to accomplish their first step before proceeding to the second step, and so on and so forth. And third, assign the time cost estimate per activity. So I already mentioned for the first step, it will take 1 month to accomplish. For the second step, 1 month for the third step, and up to the last procedure. So and lastly, after computing for the path through the network, use the network to help plan the schedule and control of the project. And the third section of the financial plan is the financial assumption. So financial assumption, so the proponents will make a series of assumptions on the possible outcome and the effects of the chosen alternative. And financial assumptions are based on the analysis of the costs and the expected return and such of the company. So in order to be organized, financial assumptions should be written in bullet type or in numbers or in order form. So this is an example of the financial assumptions made by the analysts in the new Ping Ping's Lechon and Restaurant Incorporated. So they forecasted uh, that the sales of the company will increase 8% annually, and watchman salaries will also increase by 8%, and the registration fee shall be doubled since there is already 2 branches, so because their ACA is to branch out. Next, the rental expense for the second batch shall not exceed increase in 5 years, and other financial assumptions. So financial assumptions are the building blocks of the financial projection. So the preparation of the financial statements include the projected balance sheet, projected income statement, and projected cash flow statement of the company. The other section of the financial plan will be discussed by the next reporter. Thank you for listening.